Imagine being able to hit your 8-iron 20 to 30 yards further on average and being able to hit them much closer to your target line every single time. Well, after just one lesson with a new student of mine, he was able to achieve just this. And this is exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video. As we made two huge changes to the swing, two simple but huge changes to the swing that if it's going to work for my student Andrew, I can almost guarantee it will work for you too. Before we jump right into the video, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Harry, a golf teacher professional helping people improve their golf games. If you do take these tips and drills on board, please do consider clicking that subscribe button as it helps me produce more content like this, and also so you don't miss out on the future content coming your way every Tuesday, Friday and Sunday. Now before we dive into the two changes that we made with my student Andrew, let's just kick off with his tendencies. So the first tendency we noticed for Andrew was that he was setting up a little bit too far upright in relation to where the golf ball was at the setup. So this was causing him to get all the way up to the top of his swing, and his immediate reaction to start that transition of the downswing would be to push the club ever so slightly more over the plane. And then we get a little bit stuck at impact because of this, and then he's got to jump out the way and do all sorts. And this caused two main inconsistent golf shots, one being the straight pull to the left where he's able to time this movement and square up the face in relation to the path direction, or he would swing quicker at the golf ball and unfortunately leave the face open and causing that slice, especially with the driver. So the first change we looked into making for Andrew to gain this extra yardage and make more consistent golf shots was all to do with the posture itself, because the posture was causing him to get very close and have to conjure up things last minute. He wasn't able to get this great rotation that we see a lot of great players do in their golf swing. So we had to get him setting up to the golf ball in the correct way. And this simply started off with the club being across the shoulders, feet ever so slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Then we would flex the knees a touch, just so they're in this flex position here. And from here, I told him to imagine that someone was pushing against his belt buckle or belly button, just gonna force his hips to go backwards, and that's going to allow his chest to go forwards. So he was able to do this quite nicely and push those hips back until he feels a little stretch in the lower back. This lower stretch here gets him set on this 45-degree angle that we're looking for, rather than being too upright like this here. Then we could take the club out in front with the club shaft parallel to the ground and then dropping it to the floor until it reaches the ground. And the key checkpoints for the posture, looking on this camera angle here, was that his arms were hanging directly towards the floor, right next to the chest muscles rather than being out in front like this here. Slight little bit of knee flexion and little curvature of the spine. So all I said to him to begin after this posture was just to get used to hitting a couple of shots with this, just because he had never set up to the golf ball like this before. As soon as we started hitting a couple of shots, really trying to get used to this, what we started off with was a load of mishits. But then as we gradually built this in, a good 10 minutes doing this, we noticed way better strikes. Now changing the posture made him able to get this bigger rotation, the backswing, and all the way through to finish without me having to look into forcing that or telling him to do that in particular. But then when we made our way into the downswing, we still noticed this slight little movement over the top. So we saw a lot of pure strikes that would start off left and continue in that direction, which was a good sign, because once we changed the path direction, that was the turning point for Andrew, where we started seeing golf shots finishing much closer to the target. So what we used was a swing plate and alignment stick set on the same angle as the club shaft. And all I said to him at the very top of his swing was that he had to get this full turn, thinking of back to target, just to ensure we're still getting that rotation all the way up to the top. And then the first initial move on the way down was to get the club to drop underneath the stick that was laid out in front of him. And then from there, we could rotate through to hit the golf ball. So just to begin with, we had him making this movement in stages. 1, working our way over the stick back to target. 2, keeping the body still and allowing those hands to drop. And then the final one was just turning through and just finishing off that shot as if you were to hit a bigger version of a chip shot, small version of a pitch swing. So we were trying to only hit these a good 20 to 30 yards, nothing more, just so he could exaggerate this movement, exaggerate the feeling of that club going under plane to begin that downswing, as opposed to pushing the shoulders out and getting the club over plane. Now we immediately saw massive differences with this. As soon as we changed that swing direction, we noticed golf shots starting right of target, but continuing in that direction. Not massive pushes, somewhere in between where we wanted and the disaster push shot. So then we had to look at the final step, this bonus tip that I'm going to reveal to you, where we worked on this motion a couple of times, building this up into full swings, getting used to this, and we had to learn how to control this club face. He was so used to trying to open the club face up because he was trying to cut the ball back to target to produce a fade rather than pulling them straight left. So we had to get him the opposite way, really encouraging that club to go underneath the stick, but then to curve back to target. Now to this, we want that club face close to the path. However, we want this open to the target line. And just before I reveal how we did this, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of the channel, GX Golf. They provide high quality golf clubs for a fraction of the price in comparison to its competitors on the market. You can use my discount code Harry10. Check out their website. I highly recommend checking out their clubs and getting some for yourself. So the actual bonus tip then, trying to control that club face on the way through. All I said to him from the very top of the swing was, as he's dropping those hands underneath the stick to begin that downswing, I just said to him, get the right palm to face towards the ground or rev a bike with the left hand. He preferred revving the bike with the left hand and ensuring that the GX logo, the logo on his glove, was facing more towards the ground like this here, as opposed to coming over and leaving the club face open and then the glove is pointing towards the sky. Anything on the downswing for you folks, the club face returns in this position here with the logo facing upwards. Look how open that club face is. No good, we're just going to have to try and recover and flip it. So to do this, all I said was up to the top, rev the bike to try and really close down that club face. And then on the way through, we're just trying to rotate and hold that angle. And that's going to ensure of two things. The club face is going to be closed to the path, but it's also going to be left open to the target. So the golf ball sets off right and actually curves back instead. And for our final 10 to 15 minutes, I got the swing plate and alignment stick placed right next to the net, pretty much smack down in the middle of the net, as you can see right here. Now the idea of this was to try and get the golf ball to start right at that alignment stick and to see how many we could get curving back towards the target. Remember, if you're going to take anything away from this video today, you have to remember that you do not want the golf ball to start at the target line. We want it to curve to the target line. So we have to set it a little bit right, a little bit left of target to bring it back. That's where the professionals out on tour get their most consistency. So taking this up to the top, really revving that bike on the way down, trying to set that club where we want it to be. Club face a little bit more closed because of this. Then we're rotating through to finish, ensuring that our back is facing towards the target. Then as we make our way through, our chest is facing towards the target. And we saw loads of golf shots starting to the right, curving back to the target, averaging 25 yards more using just his A-time. Imagine what this is going to do for your driver. And there we go, setting off to the right, curving back beautifully towards the target. And here you can see on the screen before and after results. And now here are the yardages right here. Massive difference, incredible improvements in accuracy and distance. So you need to go and give this a try. If you would like to see a part 2 to this on how you can utilize these two with the driver, comment down below. I want to see at least 40 comments down below voting for this, and I will get that video done for you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out this video in the meantime, as YouTube thinks it's the best video for you to watch next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over there.